User-Centered Web Design, a Comprehensive Lecture, Part 1. Narrated by Lydia Ngami. Here is an overview of this lesson. When we step onto our website, the first thing we notice is whether it feels welcoming or frustrating. Many sites suffer from a common set of usability problems that repeat themselves across the internet. One of the most glaring issues is that designers frequently forget to consider the actual web user, treating the site more like a showcase than a service. Heavy graphics, multimedia files, and plugins can dramatically slow down load times, especially on slower connections, causing users to abandon the page. Disorganized structures make it hard for visitors to locate the information they need, leading to confusion and loss of trust. Inconsistent use of standards, such as varying navigation styles or button designs, breaks the mental model that users build while browsing. Cluttered pages filled with flashing ads or unnecessary decoration distract from the core content, and outdated or poorly maintained sites further erode credibility. All these factors combine to make the user experience feel uncomfortable, prompting visitors to switch to a competitor with a cleaner, faster, and more intuitive design. User-centered design, often abbreviated as UCD, places the real people who will interact with a website at the heart of every design decision. Instead of starting with technology or aesthetics, designers first ask what tasks users need to accomplish and what information they seek. This approach encourages iterative cycles: create a prototype, test it with actual users, gather feedback, and refine the design accordingly. Simplicity is a core tenet. A site should feel natural, reducing both physical effort, like scrolling or clicking, and mental effort, such as remembering where to find a feature. Moreover, the design must reconcile the objectives of the site owner, such as revenue or brand exposure, with the expectations of the user, ensuring that both parties benefit. By keeping the focus on usability, designers can build experiences that feel comfortable, trustworthy, and efficient, which is essential in a landscape where users can switch sites with a single click. J.J. Garrett introduced a powerful framework known as the Elements of User Experience, which organizes design activities into 5 interlocking planes. Think of these planes as layers of a cake, each building upon the one below it. The topmost layer, the surface plane, is what users actually see: the colors, typography, and images that make up each page. Directly beneath that is the skeleton plane, which determines where those visual elements sit, establishing a consistent grid and placement of buttons, menus, and content blocks. The structure plane abstracts the navigation flow, deciding how users move from one page to another and what categories exist. The scope plane defines the functional boundaries of the site, listing the features and content that will be delivered. Finally, the strategy plane sets the overarching goals, aligning business objectives with user expectations. By progressing from the strategic foundation up to the visual surface, designers ensure that each decision is grounded in purpose and usability. At the base of Garrett's model lies the strategy plane, which answers the fundamental question: why does this site exist? This plane captures the aspirations of the site owners, whether they aim to sell products, disseminate knowledge, or build a community, and translates them into measurable goals. Simultaneously, it gathers the needs and motivations of the target users, such as finding information quickly or completing a purchase with minimal friction. By juxtaposing these two perspectives, designers can prioritize features that deliver value to both parties. For example, an e-commerce site might set a strategic goal of increasing conversion rates, while users desire a fast checkout process. The strategy also defines success metrics, like bounce rate or time on task, which later guide evaluation and refinement. In essence, the strategy plane provides the compass that steers every subsequent design decision. Moving upward, the scope plane takes the strategic intent and turns it into a concrete list of what the website will actually do. This includes both functional features, such as search, user login, or shopping cart, and content elements like articles, product descriptions, and multimedia. By clearly delineating what is in scope and what is out of scope, the team avoids feature creep and ensures resources are allocated efficiently. The scope inventory acts like a blueprint, allowing designers to map each feature back to a strategic objective, confirming that every element serves a purpose. For instance, if the strategy emphasizes user education, the scope might include a robust knowledge base and tutorial videos, while omitting unnecessary gamification features. This disciplined approach keeps the project focused and aligned with both business and user expectations. The structure plane abstracts the way users move through the site, establishing a logical hierarchy of pages and categories. Imagine a library. The structure is akin to the catalog system that tells you where to find each book. In a web context, this plane decides which pages are top-level, how subpages are grouped, and what pathways exist between them. A well-designed structure enhances findability, allowing users to predict where information resides and reducing the cognitive load of searching. It also supports smooth flow, ensuring that after completing a task, like reading an article, the user can easily proceed to related content or a next step. Techniques such as card sorting or tree testing are often employed to validate the proposed structure with real users before moving on to visual design. Beneath the abstract structure lies the skeleton plane, which translates the navigation map into concrete page layouts. Here designers decide how to arrange text blocks, images, buttons, and navigation menus within a consistent grid system. Think of the skeleton as the scaffolding of a building. It provides the support and shape that will later be covered by the decorative surface. By adhering to a well-defined grid, the site achieves visual harmony, making it easier for users to scan and locate information. Consistent placement of interactive elements, such as placing the primary call-to-action button in the same spot across pages, reduces the learning curve and speeds up task completion. The skeleton also considers responsive behavior, ensuring that the layout adapts gracefully to different screen sizes. At the top of the model sits the surface plane, the layer that users actually see and interact with. This is where the visual language, color palettes, typography, imagery, and iconography comes together to convey the site's identity and tone. A well-designed surface not only looks appealing but also reinforces usability by guiding attention to important elements and providing visual cues. For example, a contrasting color on a primary button signals its importance, while ample white space around text improves readability. The surface also incorporates branding elements, ensuring that the site feels cohesive with the organization's overall image. Ultimately, the surface is the final polish that turns functional architecture into an engaging, memorable experience. When the World Wide Web first emerged, it functioned primarily as a hypertext system, a digital library where users could read and navigate through linked documents. The focus was on presenting information in a linear, page-based format, much like a digital newspaper. Over time, however, websites grew more interactive, incorporating forms, dynamic content, and transactional capabilities that resemble traditional software applications. This evolution introduced task-oriented interactions, such as filling out a checkout process or configuring settings, which demand a higher level of usability engineering. Modern sites therefore sit at the intersection of hypertext, providing rich informational content, and software interfaces, supporting complex user tasks. Designers must carefully balance these two aspects, ensuring that the informational richness does not overwhelm task efficiency, and that task flows do not obscure the underlying content. A practical way to achieve harmony between information and task orientation is to start by identifying the core tasks users come to the site to accomplish. Once these primary goals are clear, whether it is purchasing a product, finding a support article, or registering for an event, designers can prioritize the content that directly supports those tasks. This prevents the site from becoming a data dump, where users must sift through irrelevant material to locate what they need. Techniques such as progressive disclosure allow designers to hide secondary details until the user explicitly requests them, keeping the interface clean while still providing depth when required. By aligning content hierarchy with task flow, the site becomes both informative and efficient, delivering a seamless experience that respects the user's time and attention. Even with a solid design framework, many sites fall into recurring usability traps that erode user satisfaction. One frequent oversight is neglecting mobile responsiveness. A layout that works on a desktop may become unusable on a smartphone, causing frustration and abandonment. Another pitfall is the overuse of heavy multimedia, large images, videos, or scripts that slow page loads and consume bandwidth, especially on slower connections. Inconsistent navigation patterns, such as changing menu styles from page to page, break the user's mental model and increase the effort required to find information. Finally, failing to provide clear feedback, like confirming a form submission or highlighting an error, leaves users uncertain about whether their actions succeeded. Addressing these issues through responsive design, optimized assets, consistent UI patterns, and immediate feedback restores confidence and improves overall usability. The UserView process offers a systematic pathway to embed user-centered principles throughout the design lifecycle. It begins with identifying the target audience and the contexts in which they will interact with the site, whether on a desktop at work or on a mobile device while commuting. Next, designers articulate clear user goals and the specific tasks they need to perform, translating abstract needs into concrete scenarios. With these scenarios in hand, low-fidelity prototypes, such as paper sketches or wireframes, are created to explore layout and interaction without heavy visual detail. These prototypes are then tested with real users, gathering observations that inform iterative refinements. By repeating this cycle, the final product evolves to meet both strategic objectives and user expectations, delivering a polished, usable web experience.